Today, we will be joined by Daniel Salazar, an MCC student who is also running for City Council, and after that, we will be joined by John Dabeet, who is running for the School Board. Now, to my left, we have Daniel here. How are you doing, Daniel?
Not too bad. Thank you for having me there.
Oh, of course. Thanks for coming. Now, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm 19 years old. I'm attending here at MCC, and I'm studying political science. I like to think I'm somewhat involved, not in the community here as well as outside of school. I have a rather large family, and I think for me it's very important that we talk to each other and we always help each other out here as well.
So, good communication skills. So, what are you involved with here at MCC?
So in a few things, I am the student body president of Student Senate. I'm the vice president of LULAC. Other than that, I'm a student ambassador, and that means, when the new people come here, I help give them tours and explain, what's going on, what this campus is about. Every now and then I also am involved in the theater department. It's a really nice time with Alyssa Altman. She's, I think, her second year here, and she's doing a fantastic job.
Wow, so you're involved in a lot more than I thought. I mean, what aren't you involved in? So, why did you decide to run for City Council?
Well, so I think of it kind of like, so for my uncle, for example, he is a corporal in the sheriff's department, but when he was younger, he wanted to go into law enforcement, and he sent out applications to go to San Antonio to, go and be on the border patrol. But then my grandfather went up to him and said, hey, are you sure you want to do that? He's like, oh yeah, of course. He says, all right, well, just remember, you grew up here, and this is your community, so you would know how to do it the best. And after having that conversation, he to himself thought, he's right. If I have the ability to help my community here, then that's what I want to do. And kind of going based off that, same thing. I'm someone who's lived here really all my life, and I see no reason why I can't help out if I'm able to. And that's what I want to do.
It's great being involved with the community, especially for running for City Council. So, what do you want the viewers to know about you more specifically?
I like to think that I'll be a little different in terms of changing the aspect and conformity of being just an older male. I think I have a better connection and understanding with youth here in our community, because at the end of the day, we all have to understand that the youth now is going to be our future tomorrow. Some of the things that the people on the council have now in terms of requirements are really not so different to mine sometimes. What I have is the opportunity to, like I said, reach out to the youth and things like that, and have maybe a different perspective of looking at things.
Do you think your age may affect how the outcome of City Council goes?
Yes and no, I suppose. Yes, in terms of, I know people will take it into consideration. I just hope they take it into consideration positively. Taking it as this is a way to have things maybe a little different.
So, what do you think some of the current struggles are that Muscatine's facing?
So one of the things is trying to focus more on the idea of health, and that entails a lot of different things. One thing is mental health and substance abuse. Not to say that we're not trying already, but we need to be more vigorous in our attempts to try to tackle this. Along with this is just trying to have more things to do. Yes, I know we're close to Davenport, but a lot of the time, it leaves so little time for people really to go enjoy and do something else that it leaves them limited options. They go to school, and other than that, if there's nothing else to do. If they can't go to the bowling alley, then maybe they'll, take up drinking or something. Yeah. And that's not okay.
100% agree. So, but what are some things you think Muscatine's doing right that you wouldn't change?
So it's going to sound somewhat generic when I say the people, but I mean people who are in the position where they're trying to move things forward, such as Councilman Brackett and Sue Johansson, people that happen to be a bit younger than the typical people in charge, that are trying to implement things that are different, that are newer, to try to help the community now.
So what are some of your strengths and your weaknesses?
I think, so this is a strength and a weakness, and this is my ideology of not giving up. If I believe in something, my goal is to go through that until the end. And, some of the negative negatives to that is that no matter what, that's something I'm going to keep following. I don't like to say I'm going to do something and not do it. I'm not going to say I believe in something and later on have someone convince me otherwise, unless obviously unless the logic makes sense. But just not giving up, especially when people are pushing me to, which could be easier to do, but nothing worth doing is ever easy.
So, at what age did it kind of click for you that being involved so much in the community kind of, like, when did that hit, I guess?
Like, to want to be involved?
Yeah.
Well, see, I grew up, very typical middle class, nothing necessarily special, and I was able to see, documentaries and, on people like FDR, on Obama, on leaders, not necessarily saying, like, that's who we need, but seeing that the change that one person can make. And if we all have the thinking that someone will come along and we just have to wait, then that someone's never going to come along. And while I completely agree, there's most likely someone else out there who can do a better job than me, but right now they're not there. So I'm just trying to do my best, do the best for my community. And I realized a couple of years ago that public service and wanting to help people is something I want to do for the rest of my life. It could be so much easier to, just go study and, work at a restaurant or something and just love the easy life there. But I feel like it's a duty, my duty as a citizen and as a person to try to help those less fortunate than I am.
100% agree. So, you're young, obviously, compared to a lot of the other candidates running. Do you feel like you still have a good amount of experience?
Yes, I mean, I think if you look at the job and what the description is, I absolutely think so. The important part, obviously, is to keep learning. Especially when you're on the job. Some of these older folk that were voted in, I promise you, they did not know the full extent of what that entailed. But as long as I continue, if and hopefully when I win, to learn and realize what works, what doesn't work, then I think that's just fine. The idea of age is brought up as an excuse, I think, to say, oh, that's why we should excuse him. But if you really dive into it and examine it, you'll find there's more good reasons or no real good reasons at all to bring it up.
So, aside from all these very serious questions, I do have one that's pretty controversial. Do you think pineapple belongs on pizza?
See, I have trouble with this because at one point I did not. But I met my partner, and she loves pineapple pizza. So I think, like in politics, you have to have a compromise. So when we order pizza, we get half pineapple, and I get the other half sausage. So
Have you ever tried pineapple pizza?
I have.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay. It's not good, it's okay. All right. So, got a couple more minutes. So no pineapples on pizza, but you came to a compromise, which is good. So you're able to come to an agreement with people, which will work great in politics. So, let's think of some other questions I can brainstorm.
Well, I can tell you real quick if you like. One of the other reasons why I guess I really like public service, if you like, there is my mother is a social worker. So growing up, that's what she would do. She would go to people's houses, she'd go to schools, and right now she is a school resource navigator. And it's a tough job. Her duty is to go out there and look at these kids and see what can I do for them. And really take it upon herself, take the reins, not wait for someone else to step in. And growing up seeing that, at least for me, I was like, all right, I get you. I'm going to do that too. If we can do it, why not?
So your mom plays a pretty big part then in a lot of what you do, would you say?
I think so. My mother, and obviously, it's like I said earlier, very much family. And even before deciding to run, I went up to my grandfather, and and he's mostly Spanish speaking, but I explained it to him kind of what it was, and I was like, oh well, there's this and that, and he pretty much looked at me blankly and said, hey, like, is this something you want to do? And I was like, yeah, all right, well, then do it. So seeing those kind of role models in my life that are to to not just sit there with your hands on your lap,
Mm-hmm.
I think kind of motivated me to want to do more than just do that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we have a very special segment on our show. You are going to be going up against our reigning cup flip champion. Now, if our crew could please move the tables up and the cups with root beer, that would be great.
Oh my.
So, do you know what cup flip is?
Kind of, sort of.
All right. So, they're going to fill these cups up with root beer. Now, as soon as you get done drinking all of it, you're going to put it by the edge of the table and you're going to flip it. And once it lands, you get to move on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one.
Oh my.
Now, if you win this, you get rewarded the satisfaction of winning. So they're getting everything set up. If Cooper, our reigning champion, could come up, please. This is your competition. This man has been slamming root beers since the day he was born.
Oh my.
He's undefeated. If you can beat him, like I said, you get the satisfaction of winning. Maybe we'll let you take like a cup or something if you want. All right. So, fill those about to a quarter of the way at the first line.
Have you ever done this?
Absolutely not. I mean, this man, I wouldn't want to get beat on camera. Yeah, it's about like the first line.
You're making me nervous.
I know. It's like the Super Bowl, but for
See, next
drinking
time
root beer.
you have to sell tickets for people to come and watch this.
I know. Think about the audience we would have.
Think of
MCC's one sport. It's cup flip.
I mean, I really think Naomi would jump on this because it's a way to get kids to come here.
That's true.
Cup flip and scholarship.
Full ride.
So I got full ride.
Full ride at MCC.
Like, oh yeah, bro, how'd you do that? I was like, I flipped the cup.
All right. If you would want to go stand by the first cup, I'll give you a countdown. All right. The last cup is filled. Cup drinkers and flippers, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. I'll let him get out of the way. 3, 2, 1, cup flip. Oh my.
Oh my God.
Exhilarating.
Oh, kind of, sort of.
Oh, Daniel's catching up. Put some muscle into it. Uh-oh.
Oh my God.
Will he be defeated? It's not looking good.
Oh my God.
Oh, they're all tied up.
Oh yeah, it's not good. Oh.
Oh my goodness. Will the undefeated champion Cooper, will he go down today? Oh, he's on to his last one. Come on, Cooper. Get it going. He's struggling. He's drinking too much. Uh-oh. Oh my.
Keeper, don't flinch.
Oh my goodness. It's coming down to the wire, folks. That's it. That's the game. Daniel, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was great having you. You officially dethroned Cooper. But now, I need our next guest to come up and beat Cooper again. So let's get the cups filled again. Daniel, you are free to go. You were an amazing guest. Thank you so much for coming. Now, I'm going to get the root beer back up here. Wherever it was stationed to. Sir. Good. Couldn't even finish the last phone.
Who's drinking next?
Exhilarating stuff right there. you guys got to play again. All right. Since Cooper was dethroned, would anyone else like to step up and challenge John? Any takers, or is it going to be Cooper again? Looks like it's Cooper again. All right. John does have the advantage here because Cooper has already drank 5 of them. All right. So I will give you the countdown. You guys have seen the game. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, almost spilled. Exciting stuff. Oh, she's falling behind again. It is just not Cooper's day. John is already on to the 3rd cup. Uh-oh. He's close behind. Oh my. It's neck and neck. Here we go. Uh-oh. It comes down to this. Oh my goodness. My goodness, it must be an off day for Cooper.
Your guests are lucky ones. Thank you, Cooper.
All right. John, if you would like to come have a seat with me, I got some questions written out for you. Thank you so much for joining us and beating Cooper.
Thank you.
Of course. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is John Dabeet. I'm the business department coordinator at MCC, and also I teach economics and statistics here.
So you're pretty involved already. More specifically, what are you involved with aside from the teaching and the business? What else?
Yes. At the college, I chair the EICC Diversity Council, and also I'm the advisor for Young Democrats here on campus. Outside the college, I'm a school board member, and also I'm the first elected Iowans to serve on Sister City International in Washington, D.C.
So why did you decide to run for school board again?
Well, remember, I'm in education, so education is my career. Everything I do has something to do with education, and the school board is a great fit for what I do on a daily basis for me.
So what are your strengths and weaknesses?
I think if we start with strength, as I said again, I'm already in education. I travel to 19 countries and learn a lot about their educational system and so I can do some sort of a comparison between what we have versus what other countries has. So I'm already in education. I'm very supportive of education and students, which is very important. So those are the strengths that I would like to bring to the board, because I like to work with students, I like to work with teachers, I like to work with staff and with everybody else in order to create a very good and a strong quality educational system for our students, our futures here in the Muscatine area. I think one of my weaknesses is, those who knows me very well, they know that about me. I cannot say no to anything. My day can be 18 hours easily, working between my work here at the college and outside the college, locally on state level and national and international. But I still can manage my time very well, and thank God for everything.
Okay, so you're very good with time management then.
Definitely.
So you said you traveled to 19 countries. Which country would you say has the best education system?
So far, I learned a lot about, I will say, the educational system in different countries. One country that have a very strong system is definitely Russia. I'm talking about the countries I visited, obviously. Russia, when I visited Russia in 1997, and I had the chance to teach at Moscow State University for a month, I learned a lot about their educational system. It's a very competitive system. It's a matter of you have to be almost the best to continue to move forward. So Russia would be one of them. My native country, where I came from, Palestine, has a very competitive system too. I remember, for example, when I graduated my year from high school, the university that I went to work on my bachelor degree, they only accepted 121 students into the economics program, and only 19 of us graduated with the degree. So yeah, so it varies. It varies. Yeah.
Do you try to implement anything from Russia's education system to here at MCC?
Well, my classes are what I would say very diversified classes. You know, I teach economics, so it is the comparison between our economic system in the United States and the rest of the world or certain countries happen in my classes. When we talk about international economics, when we talk about international finance, so a lot of those countries that I visited, I use to tell the story to my students and share the story with them and try to make sense about why it's happening this way there versus why it's happening this way in United States.
So what are some current struggles you think MCC is facing right now?
Well, I think the biggest struggle any education institution is facing is the funding. Definitely, you know, less and less funding means higher and higher tuition. And I think finding sources of funding, including getting more money from the state, becomes always the number one most probably challenge for the educational system.
So what are some things that MCC is doing right? What do you not want to change about MCC?
Oh, well, I love MCC. I think one of the best things that we take pride of as a college here is that we are a family. You know, we are lucky because the college is very small, so we don't have a lot of students here versus like University of Iowa or Iowa State and so on. So that gets us to be like a family. Our students get very strong attention from us as instructors here. The same thing, our students get treated very well and get and receive the best quality education that anyone can imagine.
So what's something you want the viewers to know about you?
Well, one thing is that I always, as a person, I always strive for the best. I will never claim that I reach the best level yet, because once you claim that you reach the best level, that's when you stop working anymore. So what I would say here is that I always strive for the best. I always like to hear from people. I always like to hear whether it's positive feedback or negative feedback, because both, as a matter of fact, are what I call the fuel that I use to improve myself as a person.
Do you think community colleges as a whole can provide a better education because like the classes are so much smaller and it's more of a tight-knit family, like you said, community?
Yes, definitely. That's part of the reason is, you know, small classes provide better educational experience for our students, but also remember, community is part of our name. We work directly with our community, with our partners here, whether it's the business partners, whether they need certain, for example, programs for us, that we can tailor those programs specifically for those organizations and business companies. So yes, we are part of the community, and hence we are a community college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts about the new junior high name and overall facility plans?
Yes, I love definitely the name. You know, I think it's time for Muscatine to recognize Susan Clark by obviously having a new junior high school named after Susan Clark. You know, it happened over 150 years ago when 12 years old decided, with her dad, decided to challenge the decision of the school board then. And I'm very proud to say that I'm part of the school board right now that flipped that decision that happened almost over 150 years ago, and take that bold step and name that school after her. Overall, the plans are working very well, from moving sixth grade back to elementary schools, having that middle school as one location, combining both of them together and so on. So overall, I think this will add a lot positive points to our school district.
What made you want to be so involved in MCC, like the community as a whole?
Well, it's very. I mean, being part of MCC is very inviting. You know, it's you have the choice to just come and teach your classes and go home, or become part of that family. And I'm the kind of person that like to be well involved. I like to belong to any organization that I'm part of, and I like to take on the challenges and work very hard to improve that organization as part of that organization. So that's part of the reason why I like that.
So, let's see. With you being so involved here at MCC, you're involved. You touch in kind of, it seems like, everything. So, what's your favorite thing to take part in?
Well, my ultimate favorite thing I always do in my life and will continue to do is working with my students. My students knows me very well. I'm not traditional by any means. I don't build things between me and my students, because the most important thing for me, obviously, is that my students likes economics and enjoy the subject and learn a lot and start applying that to their daily life. I do enjoy working with students. I do enjoy working with elementary students, middle school, high school students. I go and read for students at the elementary school. I go and visit with middle school and high school students too. So it's always fun and enjoyment to be around students.
How long have you been involved in the education system?
Well, I have been teaching at the college level the past almost 29 years, I would say. And before that, obviously, I was a student myself at school, then my bachelor degree, then my master degree, then, continue on my education. So it has been, I have been involved in education for a long time as a student or as a teacher. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's all the time we have today. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you guys at home for watching Access Muscatine, and make sure you catch us next time.
Thank you.
Of course.